So I'm Ethan Russo. I'm Senior Medical Advisor at Canurta and also CEO, founder of Credo Science. We're going to discuss today what's known as motor neuron disease or amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. This is a degenerative disease of the central nervous system affecting motor neurons. So these are the nerves that carry signals from the brain or the spinal cord to the muscles, and these, in this disorder, degenerate, producing a whole host of problems, including weakness, again, spasticity, etc. It is a devastating disorder that can affect people anywhere from young people to older people. And the life expectancy is very reduced. Only 10% of people survive 10 years. As an example, there are now a number of FDA-approved drugs for this. Riluzole was the first, but mainly they produce a very cosmetic in life expectancy improvement. And there's actually no drug that is approved to treat symptoms of the disorder. In my practice in Missoula, Montana, I had the occasion to diagnose a young man who had obvious weakness. That's a state with miners and lumberjacks. He was very weak compared to the average Montanan. But there was no doubt about the diagnosis based on the tests that we did, the electromyography and biopsy. But I had the occasion to see him over the next 10 years, and there was no degeneration. He had not been interested in conventional drugs and had used cannabis as his only medicine. Is this a cause and effect? I believe it is, but that is not proven because it's only one case. However, we have a lot of reasons to think that there's something to it. This is just a list of the manifestations of what is a complex disorder, complex pathophysiology. I've mentioned the degeneration of the motor neurons, but there are all these other things. There are problems with the repair of DNA, problems with the energy metabolism affecting the mitochondria. Above all, there is inflammation in the nervous system. And you've heard how important that is to many disease processes. And there's also what's called excitotoxicity. This is the idea when there's too much glutamate, a stimulatory neurotransmitter, it can actually excite the cells to death. So we need to treat all of these things to have a real effect on the disorder. So why cannabis? Well, again, for background, there are between 18 and 23,000 people in North America affected with ALS. As we mentioned, this is a terminal degenerative disease with no drug that genuinely suppresses its progressive nature. From this study in 2018, you have a whole list of symptoms and the extent to which people with ALS are affected by them. So, surprisingly, almost 60% have pain. They're all plagued with fatigue, disturbed sleep. There's spasticity in the later stages in 84%, and again, muscle spasms, cramps. Wasting is a big feature of this as the muscles degenerate. But as you would imagine, in such a devastating disorder, depression, anxiety, etc. Another very disturbing symptom is an excess salivation, what's called sialorrhea or drooling. My friend and colleague, Dr. Carter, as much as 22 years ago, had listed the reasons that cannabis would be useful in treating this condition. And you can see the various symptoms: pain, spasticity, wasting, and there's a role, possibly, for cannabis in all of these. He made an interesting statement. At that time, more than 20 years ago, cannabis was known primarily for a bad reputation and fears of drug abuse, but he said, concern for drug overuse within reason is pointless in a terminal disease. A recognition of the fact that you use the tools that are available and not worry particularly about what society might think about a given drug. Every drug has therapeutic applications. This is a nice chart that was developed by Nisha Whiteley to put it all together in terms of symptoms, available drugs, and how they stack up. Now, on most of this chart, you'll see a bunch of blank spaces with drugs that don't quite do the job. On the right, we have what we expect to occur with our multi-component formulation. And you see it checks all the boxes in terms of treating pain and all the other symptoms. And we really genuinely expect that this will have a minimal adverse event profile. We think that there is a good prospect of life extension with the neuroprotective ingredients of this, and we think it's extremely likely that it will be effective in treating symptoms in addition. Where we stand today, this is a company that has an excellent basic science team in place with good track record of excellent results already. There's a strong patent position already in place. We've identified a world-class clinical operations team to assist us, help avoid the mistakes that have occurred with other companies. They're veterans of GW Pharmaceuticals as well. They're key opinion leaders on ALS that are in our network, and we're in the process of bringing on a development partner who has access to the cannabis-based ingredients outside the canflavins that we need to bring this to market. So all of these factors should expedite funding.